Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here with us today for this webinar on health insurance and travel insurance. We have two great presenters, and I thank you, both of them, for their time. And both are, one is Karina Rodriguez, that she's going to talk to us about the importance of health insurance. And I'm going to give you a little bit overview of her experience, her career. She is president of Exfinia Financial Services. She graduated from the Monterrey Institute of Technology with a major in public accounting and a specialization in international finance. She started her professional career in finance 25 years ago, working for a financial engineering firm called Profit, located in Monterrey, Mexico. Then she worked for a financial advisory firm in the Woodlands, Texas, providing investment advice to high net worth clientele in Latin America, Switzerland, and the United States. Karina's ability to establish business and personal relationships is one of the key strengths of Exfinia's executive team. So now, Karina, please, thank you, and go ahead with the presentation.
Thank you very much, Gabi. And thank you everyone for attending this webinar. We're going to talk about today about health insurance. And please feel free to ask your questions in the chat. We will have a Q&A session after both presentations. So this is health insurance that is target for for an expat. Who is an expat? A person that is living outside of their home country. They could be already US citizens and be living here in the US, but having another citizenship for another country. So this is the ideal market for this health insurance. As long as we have a foreign citizenship, we can have access to this health insurance. We can be living anywhere in the world and we can have access to this insurance as long as we are not living in the country where we are citizens of. For example, I am a US citizen, but I'm also a Mexican citizen. Because I have the Mexican citizenship and I'm living here in the US, I have access to this health insurance. And let's assume I'm the only one in the family that has a foreign citizenship. Because I have this dual citizenship, I can be the insured and the rest of my family could be dependents. But the whole family has access to this health insurance. It doesn't matter if I am a US citizen or not, regardless of my migratory status, as long as I have a foreign citizenship, I have access to this health insurance. So this company has coverage over in 180 countries and has access to the largest network in the US that has about 1.2 million providers. This health insurance could be offered for individuals and for families, for global work, people that are working overseas or in another country, and also for foreign students. And as well could be offered for groups and businesses. And we are going to talk in detail about each of these markets. There are 4 solutions, and I will appreciate if the rest of the attendants could mute their microphones so we don't have any noise. Thank you. There are 4 options in this product. The first one is a product where you need to have a medical interview because they will accept you depending on your health condition. And we will go over that in detail in a minute. But that one is an ample coverage with two options of coverage, but we will need to pass a 20-minute medical interview. In the second option, it's an ACA compliant plan, which means that they will cover any pre-existing conditions. And we will have access to that during open enrollment, which is usually between the months of November and December, or when we have a major event change, when we are between jobs, when there's a divorce in the family, or there was something that changed our status and now we need access to a new health insurance. The third option, it's a temporary health insurance. When someone is visiting us here in the US, this coverage is from 3 months all the way up to 11 months, or when we know that we are going to be living in another country for a short period of time. And the fourth option is for students that are foreign students that are living in the US, or US students that live in another country that want to study abroad. So we're going to go over the first option. That one is it's a plan that has two options. The gold, which has a limit, an annual limit, not a lifetime limit. This is very important. This is an annual limit of $7 million. Every policy year, the 7 million are going to start again, and they have different deductibles from $0 to $5,000 per year. And there's also the platinum option, which has unlimited coverage. If I had a major event and my medical bills in this year were $20 million, I have coverage for everything, and also the deductibles are between $0 and $5,000. Why this plan is way more affordable than any ACA compliant plan? Because in this plan, we need to pass, as I said, a medical underwriting, which is a 20-minute phone interview. With that, they will assess if the person has any medical conditions or pre-existing conditions. If they have pre-existing conditions, they might have a temporary exception or a permanent exception. But usually this plan is very good for healthy clients that they don't want to pay high premiums for an ACA compliant plan, because in an ACA compliant plan, they need to cover everyone regardless of their pre-existing conditions, and therefore the premiums are much higher, and people that are healthy, that are young, they end up subsidizing those premiums, higher premiums. So that's why this plan it's way more affordable. So it'll cover for unexpected accident or an illness. They also cover preventive services. There are no waiting periods. They cover wellness services, alternative medicine, up to $100,000 emergency evacuation. You can purchase additionally if you want maternity, dental, and vision, if they would like. Foreign nationals have a special plan if they want to have access to CFE. So this plan, it's very robust, very good plan, and as I said, has no waiting periods. The second option is an ACA compliant plan. In this one, as I said, they cover any pre-existing conditions, and there are 5 options within this plan, depending on the deductible that you want, and the maximum out-of-pocket, individual out-of-pocket. Remember, the maximum deductibles that we pay is 2 deductibles per year. So if there's a family of 5, the maximum that they pay is 2 deductibles. And this is the co-insurance that they have. That is the portion that they must pay. For example, in this option 1, the insurance company will cover 90% and the client will have to cover 10% up to the maximum out of pocket, which is $3,500. The maximum out of pocket is in addition to the deductible. So the maximum this person will have out of pocket will be $4,500. And if it's a family, the maximum they will have to pay is 2 deductibles and 2 individual out of pockets. As I said, it's an ACA compliant plan. There are no waiting periods, no tax penalty for the states that still have a penalty if you don't have an ACA compliant plan. Most of the states do not have a penalty anymore. It's a global coverage, and they have up to 180 days. If the person is in another country, they also have coverage up to 180 days. They have access to teledoc, and they have optional dental and vision for adults. But the dental and vision is included for children, and there are no referrals necessary. They have the concierge service, and maternity is included in this plan as well. This option, the third option is, as I said, when the person is visiting another country between 3 and 11 months, is a short-term health insurance. The maximum limit is $2 million, and the deductibles vary from $500 to $5,000. The co-share, the portion that the client pays is 20%. The insurance company will pay 80%, but the maximum out of pocket they will have is $1,000 plus the deductible that they selected. Okay, this is ideal for recent graduates or young adults that already passed their parents' the limit age to be under their parents' coverage. When a person is in between jobs, when there's a waiting period from the employer, when they are anticipating retirement, and when they are not in that, they want to have an ACA compliant plan and it's not, right now it's not the open enrollment period, they can have this insurance for a short period of time until the window opens for the enrollment, or when they are traveling in another part of the world. All the clients have access to a member portal where they will have access to the account and the plan information. They will have all their documents there, their IDs, their certificate of coverage. They will have all the information for the out-of-pocket costs, deductibles, explanation of benefits, and the appeal process. They will have all the invoices, transactions. They can manage their payment of premiums through the portal as well. They have access to the provider network, the pharmacy network, and of course, the concierge messaging center. What is the process for underwriting and eligibility? For the option 1 is the one that you have, as I mentioned, you need to have a 20-minute for interview. If there are medical conditions that are declared during that interview, then the application will be evaluated by the medical department. And then once the applicants are approved, if depending on the severity of the pre-existing condition, they might have the following options: a temporary or permanent exclusion for that pre-existing condition, or they might have a maximum allowable benefit, or they might have, if they want the coverage to include that pre-existing condition, the coverage might be an additional charge. And once they accept these conditions, then the letter is sent via secure email. That's for the option 1. For the option 2, which is the ACA compliant product, they are automatically approved since all the pre-existing conditions are covered, and they are only reviewed for eligibility requirements. That means that they had an event to qualify, or it's during the open enrollment period. Once the policy is approved, a welcome email is sent to the client with all the information, their IDs, and access to the portal. Any additional riders if they have, for example, the maternity or the dental or the vision. And in case of groups, we can also insure groups, companies. They need to have a census, which means that the employees of that company, at least 80% of them need to be foreign nationals. They need to have a foreign citizenship in order to qualify for this international health insurance. 80% need to be a person with another citizenship of another country, and then 20% could be only from the native country. And then based on that, the coverage is offered. Also, everything will be tailored according to the plan benefit requirements and the claim history. Why you should go with this insurance company? Why with us? Well, they have exceptional care. They have the concierge care that is 24 hours, 365 days available. They can answer in your language. They have the largest US network, which is over 1.2 million providers. They offer also telemedicine. In these days, not a lot of us want to go to the doctor, so there's many things that could be solved via telemedicine. And if the doctor decides that you require to be seen in person, then they will advise that. And you have access to the resources around the world. They have hospitals internationally, pharmacy, doctors, etc. So thank you very much. Here's my contact information if you would like to have a teleconference or a phone call to answer all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Karina, for the presentation and all that great information. We're going to have a Q&A session at the end after our next presenter finishes. So just write your answers in the chat and we'll go through those at the very end of this webinar. So now I'm want to introduce you to our next presenter, Marco Contreras. He graduated from the Monterrey Institute of Technology, receiving a bachelor's in international business, and he holds a master's degree from Thunderbird School of Global Management in Arizona, and has executive diplomas from Columbia University in New York and Barry University in Miami. He has over 22 years of experience in the financial industry as a high-level executive for a domestic insurance company, executive sales, and marketing strategies. His background includes over 25 years of experience with the Hispanic communities in the United States and Mexico and Latin America in both public and corporate sectors. He's a dynamic person with initiative, good qualifications, public affairs, business development, marketing, and networking. So thank you very much, Marco, for your time, for being here. And he's going to talk to us about travel insurance. Go ahead, Marco.
Thank you, Gabriela. Thank you, everybody, for being here, for giving us some time to talk to you about different options for protection. And now it's my turn to talk about travel insurance. And travel insurance has been always available pretty much to everybody who travels from one country to another internationally. And it's been a product that is been in existence for so many years, but usually we didn't pay attention to it before. Our mission is to protect travelers around the world with the best and most complex network of doctors, dentists, medical centers, emergency rooms, and to provide assistance in case of a situation presented during the trip, or in case of a medical assistance for illness or for an accident. Now, why it is important to talk about travel insurance in 2020? Because 2020 has taught us that everything is possible. When before we believed that it's okay to travel from one country to another one and nothing is going to happen, now we learn that everything is possible. That suddenly we may face a illness or a complication, or the trip was canceled, or the tours that we have programmed were canceled. I mean, anything right now can happen, and that's why it's important to cover this trip and to cover us and our family during this trip, to have this peace of mind that we have the best available assistance possible. The company that we are working with has over 31 years of experience around the world, and they are experts in providing several solutions when we are traveling abroad. And sometimes when we are in a foreign country, in a different country, we don't know how to contact a person who can help us. How can we solve any situation that we are facing? And that's why we are here to help. We can provide different coverage, since luggage protection, you know, it's very common that during the trip, the airline lost our luggage or it's damaged. You have coverage for that. Also, in case of an illness or an accident where you require medical or assistance, or need to go to emergency room, or need to go to a hospital, you are covered for a very nice limits, very nice amounts. And the important factor here is that those limits are per event. It doesn't matter if you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 events. The limits that you require to protect your trip are per event. So if you face a situation where you need to pay, or the expenses were around $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, the next event will replenish those limits, and you will have the same limit that your contract. And you have different also service extensions in case you need to be repatriated to your country of origin, in case you need an ambulance. You have different type of coverage that will help you face the difficult situation that you are having in a different country. Also, you have backup in case of the airline bankruptcy. I'm sorry. We are seeing this very common nowadays, that because of different situations, some airlines have to declare bankruptcy, and sometimes you are stuck in the country that you are visiting and you don't have access to anybody who can help you to solve the situation. We are here to help. Also, pet hotel reimbursement in case you're traveling with your family for the holidays and you need to leave your pet in your country of origin in a hotel with the bed. You are reimbursed for the expenses that leaving your pet in a hotel costs you. There are some limits, some restrictions, but pretty much you are reimbursed for the pet hotel. And also you can customize your plans, adding different upgrades to your policy. One of the main ones that we may think of right now is COVID. We provide coverage for COVID in case that during your trip you get this disease, COVID-19, you will have medical assistance. You're gonna be able to test for COVID. You're gonna be covered for the hospital expenses. Yeah, in case you need a ventilator, you're gonna be covered for that. In case you need to cancel your trip for because of COVID, you will have access to that benefit as well. That coverage is included automatically in every package that you get through us up to age 17. But in case there's someone traveling who is older than 70 years old, you can get an upgrade. Different limits, but you can cover every person in your family to this situation. This is something very important because we know that there are a lot of companies that provide travel insurance that they do not cover COVID, and we do. And honestly, this is a peace of mind that when you're traveling and you face this situation, you are going to have someone that takes your back. We have a 24/7 assistance center that is going to help you when you need any assistance that you may face during your trip. They provide immediate attention via WhatsApp, email, or through an application that they have that you can download in your phone. They have multilingual service. You can have access in English, in Spanish, Portuguese, and different languages. Yeah, and they can also help you to trip recommendations during your trip. So pretty much you have your back all the way since you start your trip until the day that you end it. They will have your cover. Why are we the best travel assistance available in the market right now? As I mentioned you before, the amount that we offer is per event. Due to illness or accident will be refilled after each event, and you will start from zero in case you need the assistance again. The pet hotel reimbursement it's a nice add-on to the policy. Sometimes, a lot of times, the cost of the reimbursement for the hotel of your family member that stayed behind in the home country is pretty much the cost of the policy. So it's one of the best options available. We have a warranty of trip cancellation for any reason. We have access to telemedicine in case you're afraid to go to a hospital or to a doctor, and because there's a lot of sick people there. We have access to telemedicine where you can have a virtual appointment with a doctor or a registered doctor to provide you with the consult that you need in case of something happens. And the airline bankruptcy compensation, that is important to have because a lot of times you don't want to stay. What you want in case something happens is that you want to get back to your home as soon as possible, and this compensation is important to be able to take another flight when the airline where you have your flight scheduling originally declares bankruptcy. Okay, there you go. We have different products. We have an international product that provides coverage from $10,000 up to $250,000 per event. Remember that these coverage are per event in case of an illness, in case of accident, in case of you get diagnostic with COVID. You will have, if you are younger than 70 years old, you will have coverage up to $250,000 in case you select this package. We have also coverage for students from $80,000 up to $100,000, and we have also plans available for corporations. Some corporations have executives that travel a lot to the international travels, and they need the protection in case something happens during that business trip as well. So we provide coverage for vacations, personal trips, or business trips as well. And so you have everybody covered, your executives, your family, yourself. So it's something really to consider nowadays, especially nowadays where everything happens around the world, to be protected during your trip. You can also add different upgrades to your policy, safe bag, so it can provide you refund or thief of damage of things that you buy during your trip, pet assistance in case you take your pet with you during your trip. They may be covered as well. In case something happens also and you lost your passport, you are covered. And something that we saw recently with this COVID pandemic happening is that a lot of people were traveling to Florida, to California, to go to Disney, and then suddenly everything shuts down because of COVID, and they cancel. They cancel the parks, they cancel the tours, they cancel all the activities that they have scheduled for the trip. So we can provide you coverage to reimburse you some of the expenses that the park or the tour company didn't reimburse you. So you're pretty much covered for everything. Also, we can provide coverage to pre-existence conditions. In case you have a pre-existence condition and you get sick abroad, we can cover you up to $30,000. If you are pregnant, also we can provide exclusive medical assistance to protect the pregnancy up to the 32 weeks. Also, the electronic device insurance. And if you are a person who loves to do sports while traveling, snowing, skiing, so you are protected. If you are a marathonist, if you are a triathlete, you are protected as well when you are travel. And as I mentioned before, in case you are 70 years of age or older, you have access also to the coverage for COVID. So we truly believe that nowadays is very important to travel safe. A lot of people is afraid to travel. A lot of people is not going to travel this holiday season. But if you do, try to get the best coverage possible in case of an accident, in case you get sick, in case something happens with the airlines, in case something happens with the tours, in case you're going to a place where you get tours. Protect yourself. It's a very affordable insurance. The cost per day is very affordable. We can provide coverage from 1 day up to 1 year, depending on your trip duration. So give us a call, get us a quote, and let us help you to protect your trip, especially nowadays, and to have that peace of mind that you and your family require during these difficult times. Thank you very much. This is my contact information. In case you have a question, we'll be happy to answer anything after this presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you very much, Marcos, for this great information. And now we'll go ahead with some questions that we have here. And the first one is for Karina about health insurance. And they're asking, we just moved to the United States from Mexico. My husband just have a visa, a working permit, a visa. And so can our family apply for this health insurance? We don't have a social security number or we're not residents, any of that.
Yes, of course they can. It's regardless of their migratory status, as long as they can prove that they have a foreign citizenship. It doesn't even have to be a valid passport, a current passport. Could be an expired passport, a birth certificate, any official proof of foreign citizenship with that they can apply. And as I said, as long as one adult in the household has that foreign citizenship, the rest of the family can apply.
Okay, thank you very much, Karina. And also about health insurance, they're asking, you talk about co-insurance for the Aca plan, but we are asking if they have also co-insurance for the first option plan.
For the first option, right now, there is no co-insurance. Once they meet the deductible, in the first option, in the one that they pass a 20-minute interview, once they meet the deductible, everything will be covered at 100%. And another very important thing to consider, what doesn't go through the deductible. All their annual exams, well woman exams, vaccinations for the children, all of that is covered at 100% without having to cover the deductible. Also, an accident. For example, I was in a car accident and suddenly I need to be in the hospital. That I don't have to meet my deductible because it was an accident. I'm covered at 100%. And also medications. Medications, I don't need to cover the deductible. In most of the other plans, you need to first meet the deductible in order for the medicines to start being covered. Here they are covered. You only have the little copay in case if it's a generic prescription or if it's a brand prescription. But those three things do not have to go through the deductible. Again, well woman exams or annual exams, vaccinations for the kids, any annual exam is covered 100% without deductible, any accidents or medications. Let's say I have another incident where I broke my leg. It's not under those categories. I need to first meet my deductible, and once I've met the deductible, everything above that will be covered at 100%.
Okay, thank you, Karina. This is a question for Marco about travel insurance. That if I have a medical emergency during my trip, do I have to pay first and then the company will reimburse me later?
That's a great question, and it's very important, and I didn't mention that during the presentation. You don't have to pay first and then the company is going to reimburse you. The company will pay directly to the medical provider, to the hospital, to the doctor. The only thing is that you need to call first to the assistance center to let them know that you need medical assistance, to explain them why kind of medical assistance do you need, and they will coordinate the medical assistance that you need. They will send you a doctor to your hotel room or to the place where you're staying, or they will tell you what hospital, what clinic you can go, and they will coordinate with them to pay directly. So you don't have to pay first and then reimburse you. There's some coverage, specific coverage that you will need to pay first. For example, the pet hotel, you need to pay that and then they will reimburse you. And also the prescribed medicines, you need to pay them first and then they will reimburse you. But the big expenses, the hospital, the doctors, you don't have to pay that first. They will pay directly to the medical provider.
Okay, thank you, Marco. There's another question for travel insurances. If I don't buy this travel insurance before I get to my destination, can I buy it when I am already there, or I'm not, like I'm not available? Is that not possible?
Good. Another good question. It's better if you get it before your trip starts. But if you didn't, you can get it, but the company may have a hold time 3 days, 5 days before your coverage starts. So you will start paying, or you will pay for the coverage today. If I get here to Houston yesterday, I didn't buy it. Now I know I get it today, but I have to wait 3 or 5 days before my coverage starts. So it's much better. I mean, you can get it, but it's much better if you get it before your trip starts.
Okay, thank you, Marco. And just another one more, but this is for Karina. You mentioned that the health insurance uses a big medical network here in the United States. What is the network they use for other countries when you travel outside the United States?
Excellent. They only have a network here in the US. And in any other country, the person can go at any hospital, any doctor, and then they will, if there's enough time, they will arrange payments with them, or if not, they will reimburse you. But we love that they even have on your portal, you have access to a search of hospitals that have a certain qualification. They want you to go to the best hospitals because they want to make sure they treat you properly the first time and things don't get complicated. Pretty much in the US, in Europe, the hospitals are fairly standard, but there are other countries where you can have a wide range of hospitals. So you can search on that database, and the hospitals that are approved in that database means that they meet the qualifications, they meet the criteria, that they feel it's a good enough hospital for you to go. It doesn't mean that if you go to another hospital, they will not cover it. They will still cover it, but they want to make sure you go to the best hospitals in the world. So there's no network outside of the US. You can go to any hospital, any doctor you want.
Okay, thank you, Karina. I think those are the only questions we have for now. So we want to thank you, everybody, for being here at this webinar. If you have further questions, please contact Karina or Marco, the phone number that they put on the screen. They'll be happy to answer any questions, or if you need a quote, they're happy to help you out. And thank you, Karina and Marco, for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you,
wish everybody a great afternoon.
I just want to mention something, and this applies to the health insurance and to the travel insurance as well. Always consider that it's better to have coverage and do not need it than need coverage and don't have it. So it's always better to be protected. Hopefully, nothing is going to happen. But if something happens, you will be protected.